What's going on, everybody? Payneblade back here again with another Genshin Impact video, and today guys we're going to be talking about life as an adventure rank 40. Yes, that's right, adventure rank 40. This is where the eternal grind begins. So we're going to be talking about a few things, guys. We're going to talk about Ascension for characters, we're going to talk about artifacts, we're going to talk about crafting, we're going to talk about material in general, we're going to talk about talents, and we're also going to talk about weapon ascensions. Now there's a lot to cover here, so I'm going to jump into it, guys. Stick around. Hope you enjoy this, and this is more of an informative video than anything else, including some combat, so from yours truly. Alright guys, let's first off jump into the first topic, which is Ascension. Alright guys, let's talk about Ascension here. Now you see my Mona, she's the only one I haven't ascended yet. If I click Ascend, I'm going to show you what I'm missing. I'm missing the Cleansing Heart from the Oceanitis boss. I'm missing the Lazarite from the Oceanitis boss, and it can be crafted with the lower ones, keep that in mind. I'm missing some of these mushrooms, which can be found on houses. And I'm missing some, well, actually no, I'm not missing, I have the nectars, which I actually ended up using my lower ones to craft. So what I'm going to do, guys, is we're going to jump into the actual boss, and I'm going to show you guys what I did and how I beat it. So this boss is actually found on the map. It's a giant water boss, which you actually don't fight the boss itself. You summon it, and then what it does is it throws around mobs here and there that you have to beat up, and there's sinking grounds as well. And essentially what happens is every time you beat the boss, the actual bosses, sorry, every time you beat the mobs, the boss's health goes down with the mobs that you kill. So the team I used up here is I used Diluc for evaporate, essentially. I use electro damage with catching for killing them a little faster as well too. Chi-Chi for healing as well as freezing the mobs, and lastly Venti for the air mobs. Now bring an archer for sure, or anybody that can do any attacks in the air, because there are a spawn of three looks like geese, or maybe swans, that actually dive down and do quite a bit of damage and are quite pesky for damage dealers who are mostly ground based. So definitely bring somebody who has a bow and arrow or can do magic in the air. Now the boss does dive here and there and does sink the ground. Don't worry, you will take damage if you're on the actual tile, but sinking the tile and you being on it will not do anything to you. You just have to swim back up and get back on the platform. As you can see here, the boss is losing health, and it does summon random mobs. Now there are hogs who charge, there are frogs who leap, there are those three pelicans or swans that dive down at you and beat you up here and there. Those flamingos there actually produce AoE water around them. And then I believe there are squirrels as well who leap, and then lastly there are these crabs that run around in circles who just spray water everywhere, so you just have to pretty much wait till they're done doing that and then jump in for the attack. Now I find Diluc to be fantastic in this fight, as he is in most fights, but Venti is great for those air mobs. There they are right there, I was talking about right there. And then also Chi-Chi is great for healing in this, and catching is great for taking them out. So anyways, we're going to go through this, guys. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the end of this, and I'll show you what I get, and then we're going to jump onto crafting. But Ascension is the first big thing you need to do. Focus on ascending your characters first and foremost, and then using the experience books to get them to 80, or just farming through adventure and try to get those characters up to the 80, because the next one is level Ascension adventure rank 50, which is going to take 10 levels instead of 5, which we're normally accustomed to, and that's going to take a while. So take your time, get these farming materials out of the way, and let's jump on to crafting after we show you the end of this. As you guys can see here, I'm doing some damage with catching. I sped up the video a little bit just to get to the end. I want to show you guys what drops happen here. Now even at AR40, guys, you have a chance to drop 5-star artifacts, you have a chance to get the purple chunks of Lazarite, and you have a chance to get more of the actual Cleansing Heart. And here we're getting quantities of 2, and we got nothing special there. But that's just pretty much the end of that video. Let's move on to crafting. Alright guys, so now we're going to be talking about crafting, something you're going to be doing a lot of in order to get your materials up for your weapons, your characters, and everything else along with this game. Now crafting plays an integral part, and the characters you use also do the same thing. So here I'm going to show you guys what characters to use, what they do in terms of their specialties, and what things you can craft using crafting. So as you can see here for the Lazarite chunks, you can't use any characters for bonuses, so feel free to use whatever character you have as your main character. Now outside of that though, there are things you can use. So for example, let's go into the weapon ascensions. So I'm going to look at the Broil Wolf's Broken Fang, and Diluc has nothing special on him, but if you go all the way up here on my screen, you will see at the top that Mona does provide you 25% chance to refund a portion of the crafting material that you're using. So we're going to pop her in here, and we're going to go ahead and craft. We're going to probably craft all 9 of these, and I want to see what the return on investment is, guys, so you guys can see it as well. So let's see, 25% chance to get materials back. Let's craft this up, and we ended up getting 2 of them back, so not bad. 9 out of 2. Is not the worst thing in the world, or 2 out of 9, I'm sorry. So that gives me 1 extra material. I'm going to go ahead and craft that and see if we get another one back here. And we do. Perfect. So there you go. Now I've got 10 fangs. So Mona does provide you quite a bit of luxury. Now that applies to every single crafting material in terms of weapons. She is the best one to use. Now let's jump into character talent materials. Now these are books that you will need to use in order to increase your talent. Now Jinkui, I hope I'm saying that correctly, also does the same thing. 25% chance. And let's look at the, not the character Ascension. This one we already talked about this. I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick, sorry. Let's get 5 of these out of the way because I need them for Mona anyways. As you can see here, no bonus, so I'm going to get 4 of them. My 5th one I already have. And then let's look at the Weapon Ascension, I think. No, sorry, I already looked at this one. Let's go to, I think it's this one here. There we go. These are items that mobs can drop. Now, if you use Sucrose, she gives you a 10% chance to obtain double the product, right? So she is fantastic in that regard. So make sure, even though you're not using her on your team, you do definitely put her in as a character selection when trying to get these crafting materials done. That pretty much covers crafting, guys. You're going to be spending a ton of time. So remember, go into co-op mode, play with your friends, get it in your world, but collect those materials and get ready to craft your hearts out for AR40. All right, on to the next one. Alright guys, next topic we're going to be talking about is resin, and I hope you guys have been saving your resin because you'll be stuck in the same situation I'm in. I'm going to show you guys how much it costs. So right now to get an upgrade in resin is 50 Primo Gems to replenish 60 original resin, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pop that. You can do it 6 times a day, so there's 1. The second upgrade is going to cost you 100 Primo Gems. There's 2. Third one is also 100. I don't have enough left, so I'm going to use Genesis. There's 3. And the fourth one is going to start costing you 150 for another 60. There's 4. And then the 5th and 6th are going to cost you a whopping 200 Primo Gems. So if you guys have not been saving your resin moons and you use it earlier like I did just to get quicker levels, you're going to go through this issue where you're going to be spending a ton. If you are spending a ton, you're going to read your daily replenishment, and it takes 8 minutes for 1 resin to be restored. So guys, while you're waiting, be patient. Go farming, play the adventure world. As you can see, I have no moons left, and take your time. All right, this game is not to be rushed, but definitely use those Primo Gems to get that resin up if you need to, or make sure you save the moons because you're going to be doing a ton of farming. And we're going to talk about the next topic, which is artifacts. Alright guys, so now with artifacts, AR40 opens up the world of 5-star artifacts. So I'm going to just show you my deluxe artifacts right now. As you can see here, I've got all 4-star artifacts with a pyro set and 1 extra goblet here for attack power. Now as you can see here also, I've got a couple 5-stars. Now none of them are ones that I can currently use, and I am farming the pyro set, but I'm just having a lot of bad luck in terms of drops. But this is essentially the end game product. You are going to be doing this for the longest duration of time. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to jump into this one here. We're going to try to get another pyro set item. But what I wanted to do is I want to show you guys the team I'm using, what the actual dungeon looks like. Because in terms of AR40, all the dungeons get extremely difficult. Now, what I mean by that is not the mobs themselves necessarily, but the effects that the actual stages have. So for example, this one here is all electric mobs, I believe. And if you attack with a fire attack, it actually blows up and actually ends up hitting your character for massive damage. So my Diluc is almost useless in this outside of doing his special. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys now. Ice damage, on the other hand, does a ton of damage back to the mob. So the moment you hit anybody with ice, they take damage instead of you. So the good thing with Chi-Chi in this one, for example, she has an orb that goes around her, and every time she hits that orb on a character or her with a special, it bounces back and hits everybody else. Now I added Mona into this because she actually has a fantastic special that imprisons everybody and bursts and blows them up, and then Venti, of course, with his special will put everybody together in a vacuum, and I can go ahead and burst them down using Diluc with just his special. But I'm going to go ahead and actually show you guys using Diluc in a second, just to see the kind of damage you take when you attack a character or a mob here. There you go. See my damage bar right there? It just went down for roughly about 3k or so. So every time you hit fire damage, you will be taking a massive amount back. So you only want to bring Diluc in just strictly for his Phoenix special, and then you want to take him out while you go ahead and kill the rest of these characters using Venti, Chi-Chi, and Mona. Now, like I said, Mona is going to be my primary DPS here. She is a character that is mostly for me as a support, but she does do enough damage against these guys to last. Now, the key thing about Chi-Chi here is when she puts a talisman on a mob, even with Diluc being out there doing fire damage, the talisman will give back so much health that you'll actually balance out and you won't lose any health in the first place. You'll just replenish it. So Chi-Chi, if you do have her, is almost key in this fight, especially because it is ice. Ice does do more damage. Now, if you have Chong Yun or anyone else that's ice, feel free to bring them in here, guys. They're going to shine. Venti is a no-brainer on this one because of his vacuum. And of course, someone like Mona or Fish or anyone like that will actually help. So including, sorry, will not help, and catching won't help either because lightning damage does no damage to lightning. So you want to make sure you avoid bringing in thunder characters. Electric characters are the worst. Now this is the last mob here. It's the electric mage. She's probably the worst one because she just create a triangle of lightning around you, which does do a ton of damage. As you can see here, she is quite annoying with her ads as well too, but just try to imprison her, try to ice her, and then try to take her out as quick as possible with your nukes, and that pretty much will give you the reward. So we're going to watch the rest of this fight here. As you can see here, my Diluc is taking a little bit of damage, but that talisman's giving it right back to him. And once this fight's done, we'll see what we get. I haven't seen this rewards in a while. I haven't got a 5-star in a while, so I'm hoping to get something good. There's Mona doing hers, and then there's Diluc just about to finish up his job. See here, see the damage I'm taking? That's not even from the lightning, that's just from the stage itself. There we go, that should finish her. Excellent, challenge complete. Now let's jump in, and let's hope we get a 5-star, guys, and if we do, let's hope it has good stats. And that's kind of the problem here. Even if you are getting these 5-star drops, the stats themselves matter so much at this point that you'll just constantly be farming them until you get the perfect stats that you want for 5 different pieces. Alright, so there's one purple, and the rest are blue. Well, there you go, guys. Welcome to the rest of your life after AR40. Get your resin ready, get your patience ready, and get ready to be spending a ton of Mora and a ton of other 3-star stuff to get your artifacts done. Alright guys, on to the next topic. Alright guys, so outside of artifacts, we're going to be talking about getting your weapons ascended. Now, if you see my Wolf's Gravestone, it is max refined, but the enhancement now, I need to ascend it even further, and I require these shackles, which happen Wednesday and Saturdays and on Sundays, and you can also craft them from lower material. I need the purple one specifically. You're going to need to have some Chaos Cores we draw from the Ruin Guards and the Ruin Hunters, and then you can craft them as well from the lower ones, and lastly, you're going to need the Forbidden Scrolls, which drop from the Samutrals, and they can also be crafted as well too. Now, here's the thing with these dungeons. You want to do the dedicated days because they're specifically for these shackles. You can find them in Cecilia Gardens here, and if you go to the last one, you should be able to actually farm these from the purple, including now the orange ones. Now those are extremely rare drops. Even the purple ones are extremely rare drops, and as are the orange. So the thing is, guys, be patient with this. So the way you want to essentially organize this, in my opinion, is focus on getting your character ascended first, and then get your weapons ascended next, and then focus on artifacts after. As you can see here, it requires ice, fire, and lightning, and we're going to show you the stage. The reason why I want to show you is it is similar to the last one, but there are some differences. So the biggest difference in this one is the mobs now actually have a time of 35 seconds to be killed, and every time you kill a mob, you'll actually get some of your time back. And also the mobs now have more traps that they put around, so you can actually get infra-trapped if you have a streak of bad luck. Now it is all water here. There's nothing but water in this stage. So bring yourself a fire user and bring yourself a lightning user, and you'll eat these mobs up pretty quickly. So as you can see here, my Diluc does pretty good damage. Now my Chi-Chi will freeze things, so ice works really well here as well too. So as you saw, it said thunder, fire, and ice are the best elements. Now you can get trapped by these guys right there. He just threw one of his traps, but I missed it. And if you do get trapped and another one throws it, you have actually been trapped for almost like 15 seconds of 3 or 4 different mobs doing this. And Sketching doing some work. Now the thing I've noticed with this, I've done this a few times now, the actual purple material barely ever drop. So just make sure you have patience, guys, and like we covered in the crafting section, you're going to be doing a ton of crafting, so just put in as much resin as possible and get this out of the way. I know it is annoying to keep doing the same thing over and over again, but that's kind of how this game runs. Any game that's a gacha like this that requires material for crafting or material for weapons and Ascension is going to make you farm it all day long, every day. So all your resin is going to be dedicated in getting this until you hit AR50, and then you'll move on to the next thing. Now here are the last 2 monsters. These are 2 Abyss Mages who are both water element with shields, and they both do insane amount of damage and traps. So just make sure you guys focus on dodging those attacks and traps and try to get out of it. Let's try to finish this up real quick, and let's just see what we end up doing. Catching's actually great for this fight. She breaks shields really quickly. Diluc's actually really good after you break the shield. He'll almost like 3 or 4 shot them, but until then, there's a trap again. Just focus on using your lightning, guys, and Razor is great on this, Fish is great on this, I'm trying to think of other people, Chung Yun is great on this, so there are a lot of really good characters you can use for this fight, but again, it's going to require your patience, guys, because it does take quite some time to finish these up. Alright, so let's just go through this real quick, end this fight, and then we'll move on to the next topic, which is going to end up being talent books. And yeah, we're going to start covering talents. Now that's something that's going to be a little different than all of these, and I'll explain why shortly, guys. So give me a few seconds and let's jump into that. Alright guys, so the last thing we're going to cover is talents, as I mentioned. Now talent books are something that you use in order to increase your talent, abilities, and levels. Now let's look at Deluxe talents, for example. He's currently at level 6. If you look at the level up section here, you're going to require some materials. Now these materials are all brand new, obviously in AR40. You're going to need some purple books, some blue sigmas, and you're going to need a brand new item called the Valen's Plume. Let's click on that. There you go. It requires the level 70 Storm Terror Challenge reward. So it's once a week only, and then the books, of course, you can get from drops. Now, these ones here you'll have to farm and craft, but as you can see here, every single one of these items or talents are going to require minimum amount. Now, with that being said, I highly recommend, guys, if you look at the actual dungeon, the Forsaken Rift, and you scroll to the bottom, you're going to require level 45 to even get the purple book. So I don't recommend doing this anytime soon in terms of farming here. You can use the blue ones if you want to craft, but I suggest holding off on that. Use your resin and start getting yourself Ascension material instead, and also getting your artifacts first. Do Dvalin once a week at least to get that done, but outside of that, guys, that should be your only focus. As you can see here, I'm pretty far away from level 45, so I'm going to be focused on using my resin on other stuff besides talents, but save this for 45.